Welcome back into the Sports Source. This segment brought to you by Madisonville Marine. If you're in the market for a new boat, you better get in touch with these guys right now if you want it by spring or summer, because people are getting in line in front of you. Madisonville Marine, madmarine.com to learn more. They've been doing this since 1976. Great team of people. You've heard me say it for years. There's no better place to buy a boat. That's because it's true. You got people that come all the way from Georgia, all the way from Middle Tennessee, driving over here. They deliver boats via their madmarine.com. They're delivering boats from Florida to California. It's a tremendous, tremendous dealership. Find out for yourself. Madmarine.com, Highway 411 North in Madisonville, Madisonville Marine. All right, Jimmy Hyams back with us again. Let's talk a little bit, and I got some graphics. Good luck reading the small box score numbers, but anyway, there they are from the other night against Alabama. There's quite a bit of grumbling after the contest about two decisions that Rick Barnes addressed in his presser. First, Victor Bailey was on the floor late and played more minutes than Justin Powell. Bailey, who missed an open three late, is a career 35% three-point shooter, but just 31% since arriving at Tennessee from Oregon. Powell, on the other hand, 43% three-point shooter, 41% since arriving here from Auburn. Also, Brandon Huntley-Hatfield had a productive first half on the offensive side of the ball, but got just 4 minutes in the second half. Uros Plavsic was out there a ton of minutes in the second half. After the game, Barnes said that Powell has got to play better defense if he wants to be on the court. Andy said that Huntley-Hatfield has got to play better defense and do more on the offensive glass. He got 0 offensive rebounds in 16 minutes of action. Did Barnes make the right call, push the right buttons, defense over offense, even late in the game when they were desperate and shots weren't falling? What do you think, Jimmy?
Look, I don't get to watch practice and all that, but I'll say this. If you gave me a wide open shot and it's either going to be Powell or Bailey, I'm taking Powell. I just think he's a better shooter. I've seen enough of Bailey. Bailey quick shoots it too much for me, but I would trust him more. And I think the only way Huntley-Hatfield is going to get better, and I think he has the potential to be that other inside player to complement Fulkerson, is to play him more minutes. So I would have played him more.
Let me get Isaiah's take and I'll come back to you. As a player, you got a coach saying you got to be better on defense, got to be better on defense. How frustrated are you if you're a five-star who's come in here, you can't get on the court, you know you've put points on the board, you've played pretty well in the 12 minutes you had in the first half, but coach said, hey, you're not playing the defense I want you to play. Do you buckle down, or are you sitting there thinking, look, man, put me on the court and let me show you what I can do? Where are you coming at that from?
You're automatically going to say, hey, put me on the court. Because we all feel like if we were out there, we could do more. But at the same time, I mean, he wants what he wants. At least he's telling them, at least he's clear, hey, I want you to play defense, hey, I want you to rebound, and that's how you earn more minutes. So he just needs to focus on that when he's in the game, and I'm sure it'll work to his advantage.
Mark, your thoughts on the personnel decisions made at least toward the end of that game the other night?
Well, if I look at Powell, and I looked at some statistics of Josiah's 11, and I throw Josiah Jordan James in there because he's getting 30+ minutes, and yes, it's a different position, and he can switch, and he adds that he makes us a good defensive team in a lot of different ways. But he's also the one that's getting a ton of three-point looks, and he's 11 for 50 on the year. Bailey's 10 for 43. Powell's 15 for 36. So if you just run the numbers, and Powell, it's not like, hey, it's just a 10 games into the season. You just look at his history. If you run the same shots that those two guys are getting in Josiah Jordan James and Bailey, that's 54 more points that this team would score. Just if Bailey got those same 18 more makes that he would get in those 93 attempts that Josiah and Bailey have gotten, Powell would make. And so that's 54 more points. Is he 54 points worse at defense than those two guys? That's a lot of points. That's more than half of one whole game. And so, yes, does he need to get better? Absolutely. Does he need to take care of the ball in certain situations? Yes. But he is such a great shooter, a very good shooter. I won't say great, very good shooter compared to those other guys in the open looks that Kennedy Chandler and Fulkerson and those guys get him. He needs to play more. Brandon Huntley-Hatfield, you run the numbers. Yes, maybe Uros is a little bit better defensively. Activity-wise, Bailey's just learning how to play. He, like Jimmy said, he needs more minutes. You can run it against a scout team, walk-ons. They're not as good as running an offense versus an Alabama-type team. You need to get him reps in game, and he is. There's again not enough separation for Brandon Huntley-Hatfield not to get more minutes.
Okay. Anything else, guys, to add to that?
I think he's teaching. I think he's teaching Huntley Hatfield, and I think he's looking at the bigger picture for down the road because he's a defensive coach. Everybody knows that. So, and Powell, he does shoot better, but he looks like he hunts his shots a little more, and he gets a little out of control, and he doesn't play as much defense. So I think that's the reason why he doesn't get the looks. So I think Coach kind of probably feels like he could get Victor Bailey to hit an open shot before he can get Powell to play the defense he wants him to. And then he don't want to reward that because then now everybody else is like, oh, well, he's not playing much defense.
Well,
I don't know if the numbers back that up,
Well,
though. Yeah,
well, and
go ahead.
I love Barnes has a standard of success.
Yeah.
And he has a standard, like you're going to live up to this standard or you're not going to play. And that goes a long way.
That's why he's a Hall of Fame coach.
The challenge with that is will you make the adjustments or can you make the adjustments? Are you willing to make the adjustments when the game's teetering to get that win that you may not be able to get? Those in-game decisions. The standard of success, like that's going to allow him to every year be really good, but can you make that next leap? I don't know.
Jimmy?
Well, he's made the adjustment to allow him to shoot a lot more threes, so I think he can make the adjustment to put your better shooters on the court. But I do think that Huntley Hatfield has got to get more minutes in that he needs, you're talking about the teaching moments, he needs to continue to develop. I think he can be a difference in what Tennessee can do in the January, February part of the season than what they did previously. I just think his ceiling is so much higher than what they've got right now with Placid.
A lot of it also depends on things we don't know, which is what is Huntley Hatfield's attitude behind closed doors.
I don't know.
We live in a world with transfer portal now, and we know how 5 stars, they all think they're going straight to the NBA as one and doneers. Is Huntley Hatfield the guy that's saying, I love it here and Coach Barnes is making me better? Or is he one of these guys that's like, yeah, I'm taking my 5 stars to somewhere else this offseason? Because we don't know that, but that's certainly the question mark that I have at this point. If I'm Huntley Hatfield, why am I here if you're not going to play me? I get what Isaiah's saying, but at some point, put me on the court and let me show you what I can do.
And Brandon Huntley-Hatfield is playing more minutes, averaging more minutes right now than Euros is for the season. But it's the time and situations that become frustrating with Brandon Huntley-Hatfield not getting those minutes.
All right, very good. Jimmy, thanks for being here. We'll see you next week or the week after, somewhere there. When we come back, let's talk about Ole Miss and LSU. That's who the Vols have on the docket next. What should you expect? Come on back.